Now let's go to the ground in Cooktown where our reporter Liz Tilley is standing by. Liz, good afternoon to you. Can you just describe very briefly for us what you're seeing and what you're hearing?
Well, good afternoon, David. I guess as Premier Newman said, people are really taking this seriously now. And, you know, people in these North Queensland communities are used to cyclone warnings. They get plenty of them up this way. But from yesterday afternoon, when this was upgraded to a Category 5 cyclone, the anxiety really started to kick in and residents started to realise, OK, we are going to have to do some serious efforts now, make some serious efforts to try and prepare for this and bunker down and try and ride this through. And that is what seems to be happening. The streets here are very quiet at the moment. At least half of the town's 2,300 population that I'm aware of have evacuated their homes because, as Premier Campbell-Newman mentioned, many of them were built before 1985, so aren't built to withstand a Category 5 storm. So many of them have evacuated. Hundreds have evacuated to the cyclone shelter in town, where it can house up to 1,000 people. And the doors there, though, shut at noon in preparation for the destructive winds that are expected. And they're expected to exceed 100 kilometres per hour from midday. Not sure if they've quite got up to that yet, but they certainly are picking up speed and are expected to reach 300 kilometres per hour a little bit later today. There is a real sense of community, though, here, David, that I should mention. Even at the hotel I'm at the moment, many of the locals have abandoned their homes to come here to seek shelter, and everyone really is banding together, sharing their supplies, because everyone has stocked up on food with everything in lockdown now down the main street. And there is just a real sense of, OK, let's just band together and try and ride this out. And while they are preparing for the worst, they're hoping for the best. The clean-up begins here in Cooktown today in the aftermath of Tropical Cyclone Ita. Queensland Premier Campbell-Newman will visit the town later today, if safe to do so, after yesterday postponing his visit due to concerns about flash flooding, which cut off a number of roads, and also damaging winds, which made air travel unsafe.
We want to get in there. We want to put your power back on. We want to put the phones back on, and we'll do so as soon as we possibly can. But we can only do that if it's safe to get in.
Last night, the Premier appointed Inspector Kevin Guttridge as the disaster coordinator to help North Queensland communities impacted by Tropical Cyclone Ita pick up the pieces.
Inspector Guttridge is well known to Queenslanders, particularly people in the Burnett region, as he has been an inspector at Bundaberg for some time. He's certainly well known for his efforts in the aftermath of the flooding that we saw last year.
Once here, the Premier will inspect the damage where a number of houses and the iconic West Coast Hotel here in Cooktown lost their roofs. Trees were uprooted and power lines knocked down. But the damage could have been much worse. Thousands of homes remain without power in North Queensland, and several people have had to be rescued while trying to cross flooded roads, including a family of 5. Ita's crossing of the coast didn't end the danger for North Queenslanders yesterday. The storm raged throughout the day with heavy rain and powerful winds, posing a severe threat to many North Queensland communities. Today, residents are hoping that that threat has eased and they can begin the recovery effort. Elizabeth Tilley, Sky News in Cooktown.
Stay completely informed on Cyclone Ita's path and power, now and in the days ahead.
Sky News is live on the ground for news as it breaks.
Sky News weather is live with round-the-clock forecasts and warnings.
Wind gusts in detail, close to 300 kilometres an hour.
Know what's heading your way
And what's still to come.
for vital local information as it's issued and updated.
For the bigger picture as conditions change.
For unrivaled live coverage, rely on the Sky News channels.
It's still too early to put a damage bill on the statewide impact of Tropical Cyclone Ita, but here in far north Queensland, the destruction has been widespread. Hardship payments have been approved for the communities of Hopevale, Cooktown, Laura and Woojul in the wake of this powerful storm, but more financial support will be needed to help these towns recover. Residents without power and water in urban areas are expected to have them restored by tonight, but those living in rural communities could be waiting weeks. More than 20,000 homes and businesses in North Queensland were without power as a result of Tropical Cyclone Ita, and telecommunications were cut off to some areas.
There has been substantial rain and flooding damage to a number of our roads. Infrastructure-wise, not a great deal of damage, to major infrastructure. There will be some. We're approaching them on the basis that let's get some betterment funding to make us a little bit more resilient.
Flooding has cut off the town of Ingham, which is likely to be inaccessible by road for several days. Sugarcane and banana plantations have been hit hard, and the tourism industry could also suffer. Around $1 million worth of damage was recorded in the Indigenous community of Hopevale, north of Cooktown, where a banana plantation was completely destroyed.
We're back and ready open for business. The road's open again today. The airports are open. So, come up here. We dodged a bullet, but we're back into it now.
Here in Cooktown, life is starting to return to normal. Despite fears the town could be wiped out by Tropical Cyclone Ita, damage has been limited, but the clean-up will be costly and lengthy. Elizabeth Tilley, Sky News in Cooktown.